Maresca's tactical genius. How Chelsea outsmarted PSG on the biggest stage. Chelsea crowned Club World Cup after dismantling PSG, but night ends in controversy. Chelsea make Club World Cup history as Real Madrid respond with pure class. Here's the full breakdown. Chelsea turned on the style at MetLife Stadium on Sunday night, delivering a statement performance to beat Paris Saint-Germain 3-0 in the Club World Cup final. In front of a packed crowd, and even under the watchful eye of U.S. President Donald Trump, the Blues lifted the trophy after a dazzling first-half display that left PSG reeling. Cole Palmer stole the show with a sensational brace, while new recruit João Pedro added a third to cap off a whirlwind opening 45 minutes. From start to finish, Enzo Maresca's men outclassed their French counterparts, combining tactical discipline with ruthless finishing to complete a night of pure footballing theater. It was a historic moment for Chelsea, a club still building under new management, but clearly on the rise again. Yet, what should have been a night of unfiltered celebration was tainted by scenes of unrest after the final whistle. Tensions flared when a scuffle broke out between Chelsea midfielder Andre Santos and PSG's Nuno Mendes, and things escalated rapidly. In the midst of the chaos, PSG boss Luis Enrique appeared to shove João Pedro in the face and neck a gesture that sent the young forward tumbling to the turf. Players from both sides, including Gianluigi Donnarumma, rushed in before the situation was eventually brought under control. Enrique's actions have since drawn sharp criticism, with many questioning the veteran manager's ability to keep his cool in the heat of competition. FIFA is now expected to investigate, and potential disciplinary action could follow. The match itself was fiery at times, with Chelsea's intensity clearly rattling the League One giants. PSG were reduced to 10 men late on, when João Neves was sent off for pulling Marc Cucurella's hair, a moment that summed up their growing frustration. While their squad is packed with talent and experience, they simply had no answer to Chelsea's high pressing and sharp transitions. Speaking after the game, Enrique tried to downplay the confrontation, attributing it to the emotional overload that comes with such a high-stakes occasion. "These matches are incredibly intense," he said. "My intention was to separate the players and defuse the situation, but yes, it got out of hand." His explanation, however, has done little to silence critics, many of whom believe a manager should lead by example, even in the most heated moments. For Chelsea, though, this night will be remembered for much more than the chaos. It was a performance that signaled a turning point, a young, hungry team playing fearless football and proving they can compete with Europe's elite on the biggest stages. Cole Palmer, in particular, was immense, his composure and creativity setting the tone for a side that looks increasingly ready for the spotlight. As FIFA begins to sift through the fallout, the broader takeaway is clear. Football at the highest level demands not just skill and strategy, but emotional control. The line between passion and disorder is razor thin, and what unfolded in New Jersey is a reminder of how quickly things can spiral. For Chelsea fans, however, the trophy glistening under the stadium lights is all that matters for now. Chelsea's emphatic 3-0 win over Paris Saint-Germain in the Club World Cup final was more than just a stunning result, it was a tactical statement. Enzo Maresca's side, considered underdogs heading into the clash in New York, produced a performance that combined intelligence, structure, and flair. At the heart of it all was a bold, asymmetric setup that not only nullified PSG's strengths, but allowed Cole Palmer to run the show. Right from the team sheet, Maresca's plan stood out. With just one natural winger in the lineup, Palmer was deployed on the right but granted license to drift into central areas, an unconventional role that PSG never managed to figure out. This freedom gave Palmer the chance to operate between the lines, constantly popping up in pockets of space that left PSG's high-pressing fullbacks exposed. It was from that same right-hand side that all three of Chelsea's goals came in the first half, with Palmer bagging 2 and assisting the third in a sensational display. Supporting Palmer's movement, Malo Gusto offered relentless overlapping runs to maintain width, pulling PSG's backline apart and creating the space Palmer needed to cut inside and do damage. On the opposite side, Marc Cucurella played an inverted fullback role, tucking into midfield to provide balance and cover for Pedro Neto, Chelsea's lone traditional winger. This asymmetry was no accident. It was designed to keep Chelsea defensively solid while still posing serious attacking questions. It's a system Maresca has been leaning into more and more tailored to a squad packed with central midfield talent, but limited in wide options. With Neto as the go-to winger and players like Palmer excelling in hybrid roles, Chelsea were able to overload the middle of the pitch and dictate play, while still stretching PSG in wide areas. The result? A PSG midfield that looked disjointed and overwhelmed, and a defense that simply couldn't live with Chelsea's movement. Palmer was quick to credit the boss after the match. Speaking to DAZN, he said, "The gaffer put a great game plan out. He knew where the space was going to be. He tried to free me up as much as possible, and I just had to repay him and score some goals." It was a testament to the trust between player and manager, a relationship built not just on talent, but on clarity of purpose. Maresca, never one for big headlines, kept his post-match comments grounded. "We found a position for Palmer where there was more space to attack," he said. Obviously, Cole played really well, but the effort from all the players was fantastic. It was a subtle nod to the collective discipline and execution that made his blueprint work so flawlessly. The first half alone told the whole story. 3 goals, all from the same flank, all flowing from a game plan PSG had no answers for. Their fullbacks pushed high, as expected, but Chelsea's timing and movement punished every lapse. And while the goals were eye-catching, it was the team's shape and discipline that made them possible. Looking ahead, this asymmetric formation looks set to remain a key part of Maresca's toolkit. With a squad stacked with strikers and attacking midfielders, and the possible exit of Noni Madueke, Chelsea appear to be shifting toward a system that favors central dominance and wide rotations. Neto seems locked in as the main winger, while Palmer's hybrid role is becoming a cornerstone of how this team attacks. It's a model that could prove invaluable in Europe, especially against high-quality sides that like to control possession and push numbers forward. By maintaining an extra midfielder while still threatening out wide, Chelsea are finding a balance that many top clubs struggle to achieve. In the end, Chelsea's win over PSG wasn't just about silverware, it was about belief. Belief in a manager with a clear vision, in a system that fits the players, and in a rising star like Cole Palmer, who can bring that vision to life. For a club still in transition, it was a performance that suggested something bigger is starting to take shape. And if Maresca's tactics continue to click like this, Chelsea fans might just start to believe that this new era is already arriving, one clever tweak at a time. Chelsea carved out a memorable chapter in their storied history on Sunday night, lifting the first ever FIFA Club World Cup under its revamped format with a dominant 3-0 win over Paris Saint-Germain at MetLife Stadium, New Jersey. Led by the ever-impressive Enzo Maresca, the Blues came flying out of the blocks, producing a first-half masterclass that saw them all but seal the title before the break. Goals from Cole Palmer, who bagged a brilliant brace, and João Pedro put Chelsea firmly in control, capitalizing on PSG's vulnerabilities with slick movement and ruthless finishing. It was the kind of performance that echoed through the footballing world. Bold, tactically sharp, and full of intent. Even a fiery second half, which ended with tempers flaring and a post-match scuffle grabbing headlines, couldn't dampen the significance of the achievement. Amid the celebrations witnessed by a packed crowd that included U.S. President Donald Trump, Chelsea's focus remained firmly on what this night meant, a major milestone in their resurgence as a force on the global stage. But perhaps just as striking as Chelsea's performance was the response from one of world football's most decorated clubs. Despite suffering a heavy 4-0 defeat to PSG in the semi-final, Real Madrid responded to Chelsea's triumph with a gesture of pure class. Instead of dwelling on their own disappointment, Los Blancos chose grace over grievance, taking to social media to congratulate the new champions. Congratulations to Chelsea and all its fans for the well-deserved Club World Cup title, the Club Road. And many congratulations to FIFA and its president, Gianni Infantino, for the brilliant organization of the 2025 Club World Cup. It was a moment that spoke volumes not just about Madrid's enduring status as a giant of the game, but also about the values they carry. In a tournament where emotions ran high and reputations were on the line, Real Madrid's message reminded the footballing world that respect and humility still matter. Beyond the sportsmanship, there was also a nod to the evolving nature of the Club World Cup. The praise for FIFA and Infantino hinted at Madrid's endorsement of the tournament's new look, even as they regrouped from a semi-final that didn't go their way. It's clear the Spanish giants are already shifting their focus forward, with La Liga, the Champions League, and more silverware still on the table this season. For Chelsea, the win will be remembered as a landmark moment under Maresca's sign that the club's rebuild is not just cosmetic, but competitive. For Real Madrid, their graceful acknowledgement is a reflection of their deep-rooted football culture, one built not just on trophies, but on how they carry themselves when those trophies go elsewhere. As one side celebrates and the other regathers, both clubs have shown different shades of what it means to be world-class. See you in the next video. Cheers from the Blues Daily.